Hello, everyone. Today I am joined by JP Too Much St. Louis. JP, how we doing?
Good man. Just got out of practice, wrestling practice with Greg Jones and Coach Saeed, and then some strength and conditioning right after. Now
Greg,
I got my nice little post workout smoothie. Shout out to Ben Locken who does my diet.
yeah, Greg Jones and Saeed are some of the top coaches in the sport. Man, I got to meet both of them. I think I want to say in South Dakota, something along those lines for Bellator 298. So I've talked to both of them before. Both really respectable and such high level coaches in the sport. Love both of those guys.
Yeah, they're both solid dudes. That was probably the Sioux Falls
Yes,
one.
yes.
Yeah, fought out there a long time ago. But yeah, Saeed. It's like it's funny because you see him, he's a big dude,
Hmm.
but super nice.
Yeah.
It's like he is very friendly, very nice, and extremely knowledgeable on a lot of things. I'm not sure how much you guys talked about like just different topics, but he knows a lot about a lot. And
Oh
then
yeah.
Greg Jones, one of the best collegiate wrestlers ever,
Hmm.
and just got a lot of charisma and very nice guy to talk to.
Yeah, he's a bit scary though. I'm not gonna lie. Like Greg Jones kind of scares the shit out of me, like in a sense. Like I don't know. He's just a very intimidating dude. If that makes sense. I don't know.
He can be intense,
Hmm.
man. So funny thing is actually one of my first times at Kill Cliff. Um, I think they were still going by Sanford at that time. Either way,
Okay.
everyone knows what being talked about, but they're very big on being punctual,
Mm.
professional fight team. And I was there visiting. It was just like one of my first times. I was there for a week, and I had left my house. I had left my little brother's house like with enough time to be on time because my guy Gerald Meerschaert was like, "Hey, make sure you're on time."
Hmm.
And I left horrible traffic. Like it took me like an hour.
Damn.
So I was about 30 minutes late. So I left with enough time to be like 30 minutes before practice, got there 30 minutes late during
Mm.
sparring. Joined in and because I was about to be like, hey, I'm about to be late. I'm not even showing up. He was like, still show up, but it was like you might get a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
And I was able to join practice, but then at the end of it, like Coach Greg didn't know who I was like that. I hadn't been on the mats before. And he was like, "Hey, come here." And I was like, "Oh shit, what I do?" And he was like, "Why were you late?" And I was like, "I didn't leave with enough time. I'm not gonna make like an excuse or
Yeah.
anything like that because they're not gonna want to hear it. You
Yeah.
have some of the best fighters on the mat in one spot. They're like, nobody's going to like care. And I think he like asked why. I was like, there's a lot of traffic, but I'm like, I should have just left earlier. And he was like, if you're late again, I don't care how long you're here for. You're not practicing with us.
Wow.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm not going to be late again. And then from that point, I would check the traffic like in the morning, like practice is at like 10 or something. And I'd be checking at like 8:30 and just making sure that I like have enough time. And I
Yep.
was like, all right, fuck this, time to go. If I see it's like 40 minutes, it's like I'm leaving now.
Yep. Making sure there was no way you ended up being late to practice again. For sure.
He doesn't play any games.
No, no. From what I can tell, he does not play no games. Greg Jones is he's a like I said, just like one of the better coaches out there in the sport right now, and that wrestling background too. Very strict, very enforced. So yeah. So I know you brought up Gerald Meerschaert just a little bit ago. I wanted to ask about Gerald. Actually, it seems like you guys have a very close relationship. Seems like it's been years and years that he's been just one of your coaches. You've been one of his top guys. I know you said that he gave you the brown belt. I want to say it was maybe purple belt.
Yeah,
He gave you your
he gave me
brown
my
belt.
brown belt.
Yeah. So you guys have been great friends for a bit, and now here you guys are in fight camp together. I wanted to ask what that was like and just the impact Gerald's had on your career.
Yeah, I'm actually at his house right now. So the whole thing is just I started living with. Well, I met Gerald like 2013 when
Mhm.
I visited Roof Sport
Okay.
and like built up like a social media relationship. We see each other. It's like, what's up? At the like when I first met him, I was kind of like, I don't want to talk to this guy because bigger white dude with a bald head in Wisconsin. I was like, you might be like on some Aryan shit. I'm not sure if I'm really like fucking with it, but that's where appearances aren't everything. And cool fucking guy, you
Yeah.
know. And then eventually, like I came up Rufus Sport, was visiting, training, would be there for like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And then when I finally moved, I I packed my car, went and like I found when I was in Indiana or something like that, like about an hour and a half away. Or no, no, not Indiana. I was in Chicago. And I was like, "Hey, does anyone have like a place I can stay at?" Like I put in like the Rufus Sport
Hmm.
community page and I finally got there and was like hanging out and finally I was like I ended up at Gerald's house and he was like, "Do you have a place to stay or anything?" I was like, "No." He was like, "What plan did you really have like when you got here?" I was like, "I was gonna sleep in my car, man. Like, I'm not really worried about Wisconsin in terms of getting robbed, and at least in the area that I was at. Milwaukee's crazy,
Okay.
and they have a lot of shit going on. But where I was at, I was like, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, a bit more safe.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just go ahead and sleep in my car. But you know, he offered me like a place to stay. He had a roommate, but he was like, you can sleep on the couch or whatever. And then eventually, you know, we were training with each other. He got me my job, first job out there, and pretty much since then we started living with each other, and that's how that kind of grew.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize you guys were that close. I didn't realize, like, that you live with him and that, that it's been like kind of a brotherly love thing since then, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like I make the joke that Gerald was the first person that introduced me to a lot of things in like I'm not trying to be unpolitically correct or anything, but like white culture
Okay.
and just different things like and just from a standpoint of like humor, I'm saying this,
Mhm.
whereas like I didn't know about things like dead baby jokes. He was like, he was like, bro, you've never heard of those? And I was like, nah. I was like, that's a thing. I don't mean to be saying anything that might be like too much.
Oh, I don't care.
All right, yeah, I like to be unfiltered.
Oh man, go for it.
Different things, man. But outside of that, just getting to know him and all that, because we can be a little bit more quiet in a sense, like introverted. I'm a lot louder than he is, though. Like
Okay.
I'm quiet in some ways, and then other ways I can be loud as hell. But yeah, we lived together for like from 2015 until 2018 or 19,
Wow. Okay.
and then like and then he went off somewhere and had his own place. Um, and then yeah, so pretty much until 2019. But then after like 2019, like 2020, I moved to Florida. But then like 2020 or 2021, I started coming back up to help him like prep for fights. So then it was like me living with him again. I'd be with him like a month at a time. I think for 2021, I probably spent like almost 3, 4 months with him,
Oh wow.
and him and his wife, and they have a child now, which is my nephew. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
very close, like very much like a pseudo family friend dynamic, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Is that the baby you always post videos with?
White one with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I. That's my guy right there.
Yeah. Became
Because I've been around since like when he was still in his mother's womb,
okay.
and then was there, like met him early, would stay with him, you know, helping with babysitting, just like making it easier. It's like, hey, I can like if I wake up and the baby's crying out, I can change his diaper. Because I grew up with a lot of kids and I helped. That's part of my culture. It's like, you know, big on the eldest one, or if you're older, old enough to walk, you have to help take care of the kids.
Gotcha.
So that's that was just easy for me to jump right in and help out where I could.
Yeah, for sure. So I did want to ask you a little bit about Rufus Sport. You talked about Meerschaert obviously being there, but what about guys like Raufeon Stots, Belal Muhammad? I know those are guys you've trained with in the past before. Seems like you have close relationships with those guys too. I just wanted to ask, like, how do those guys help motivate you, knowing that they're about on the highest level as you can get in Bellator and the UFC? Or is that like something that you like take inspiration from and look up to them for?
Oh hell yeah, man. Those guys right there, especially because Raufeon got to Rufus a little bit before me,
Okay.
and I mean he was already a sick wrestler, you know, highest echelon of wrestling that you can get to. So seeing him like work, we would be in classes together all the time, like kickboxing classes. Like we would be in kickboxing class, gi class, and then pro practice, and then we'd see each other at night. We'd be seeing each other all day.
Okay.
Um, Huge inspiration, and then Belal, another huge inspiration, especially for the fact that he was someone in my weight class and helped me a lot. And funniest story is like my first sparring day is I was getting beat up by everybody. And I was kind of just like, damn, bro, like what the fuck did I get myself into? Like I'm getting kicked in the face, leg kicked, taken down, beat up. I'm just like, and before that, I had never actually trained MMA. I
Okay.
had fought MMA. I had done like aspects of MMA, but never actually put it together and had that like consistently.
Gotcha.
And I'm just getting beat up like guys like Mike Biggie Rhodes, Gerald is
Mhm.
whooping my ass, all these guys. And I see Belal and I'm like, all right, this guy has basketball shorts and some baggy t-shirt. This I was like, he shouldn't whoop my ass. And then he whooped my ass too. And
He joined the club. Yep.
yeah, it was just like, and that from that moment on, I was like, all right, I'm fucking here. And it's like, it's time to get better. And I think even that day, like the first day he met me, and I was notorious for going out like super hard when I first got there. They called it Team Go Hard. And even with that, like he didn't get pissed. I mean, maybe he got pissed and whooped my ass a little bit harder, but like he started helping me from the jump. Like if I asked him a question, he would help me out. If I was struggling with something, he would give me pointers. Like Bilal is one of the most altruistic people that I've ever met on.
He seems like it.
Yeah, like he doesn't have an ulterior motive. If
Mhm.
I think for him, if he sees and thinks that you're like a humble dude or just working hard, then he's gonna want to help. Like he's the type of guy that would literally give a shirt off his back. One of the nicest human beings, and because like I respect him so much, when I'm around him, I try not to even cuss. Like I don't know if you see, like he says fudge and all those things.
Yeah, yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, try to keep it like that. But
Okay.
that's just like a personal level. But as an athlete, I respect the hell out of him. You
Mhm.
know, everything him and Raufeon have been able to do, have done, will continue to do,
Mhm.
is nothing short of amazing. And if you know them, like I got to see them before everyone else knew who their name, like knew what their name was,
Gotcha.
or people maybe like counting them out or whatever it is. And it's just like, yeah, I'm biased. It's like, this is my training partner, this is my guy, but it's like, these guys are fucking good.
Yeah.
Bilal has gone and proved it. Rafion has gone and proved it. And one of the things that like we all got our purple belts the same day. We
Okay.
all were promoted the same day. And I always look at that as I think and I know that I have the ability to go just as far as they have. And I've been able to watch the highest level of athletes from like early on
Yeah.
continue to rise. And I may not have like the credentials like Rafion in terms of wrestling, but that's not always what you need, you know. There's a lot of fighters who didn't have those credentials. GSP was one of my main motivations to actually try MMA because I was like, he's a Kyokushin. I think that's what he did, Kyokushin karate or something like
Yeah,
that, some form
karate,
of
yeah.
karate. And he was able to out wrestle wrestlers. It's
Mhm.
MMA, not just wrestling. And so I take that like Bilal is a little bit more like me, like both athletic dudes. We did a lot of stuff. I'd say he has like better wrestling,
Mhm.
but I still have learned how to wrestle and developed an effective style in my own way. But yeah, I respect those guys a lot.
Oh, yeah, they're both awesome guys. I was actually lucky enough to be at both of their last fights. I watched Belal beat Burns, and I watched Stots beat Sabatello in the rematch, so I was lucky enough to watch both of those in person and, great fighters, great fights, honestly. I mean, like you said, I respect the hell out of them as well. They both, like proven how much you can do in this sport, especially like from the ground up, like just watching their journeys and everything. Like a lot, like you said, a lot of people doubted both of them, and both of them have just continue to prove those doubters wrong time in and time out.
Yeah, it's it's not like I said, it's
Hmm.
nothing short of amazing. You know,
For
they
sure.
are great individuals, like outside of MMA, and that's part of the reason. Like I tend to gravitate more towards people like that. Like I can respect someone's accolades in a sport, but like I always say, if I think you're whack as fuck, you're whack as fuck. It doesn't matter if you're top 10, top five, or champ. I'm not going to treat you any different than anybody else because it's like you're lame. I don't like you, so I'm not rocking with you.
Yeah.
But those guys, I've spent time outside of the gym with them. Like Raufeon, he has a child that me and my wife we would be sitting like we would babysit
Hmm.
and we would be around and we were there for those early stages. So it was a very like a family dynamic between a lot of the guys at Rufus Sport.
Yeah, no, the what's it? Ruffian's kids are as adorable as they come. I was covering the event in Bellator when he fought Sabatello, and he had his kids running around the hotel after the fight, and I got to meet his wife and everything. They're very nice couple and awesome little cute kids. I mean, definitely nice to have that kind of connection with your teammates and be able to just have that trust in other people. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it was always nice.
Yeah,
And I was always grateful that like Rafion and his wife, Michaela, they trusted me and my wife enough to like watch their child.
yeah,
That's something that you never take for granted. It's like someone is giving you one of the most important things in their life. And like I take that as an honor. It's
of
like you trust
course.
me enough to watch your child, then like nothing's happening like on my watch, or
Yeah.
at least I'm gonna be as focused and make sure that I like nothing happens. You know.
So I wanted to ask, I see that you train at all these different gyms. You train at Rufus Sport, train at Killcliff, you train at Fusion Excel. I wanted to ask one, what was your home gym or what would you consider any of these gyms your home gym? And two, what do you think the importance is of cross training in today's MMA?
So Rufus Sport, I don't train there anymore.
Okay.
I just have the ties there. And so pretty much since 2020, I've been at Fusion XL. That's my home gym.
Okay.
And then what I would do is like if Gerald had a fight, I would come up and help him out. And if I had a fight, I would be out there. And I think I was there for um Belal, one of his camps,
Yes.
and then went up to Rufus Sport and finish out helping like Gerald. And then I had my own fight. So I ended up just kind of doing parts of camps out at Rufus Sport.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so my home gym is Fusion XL, and then I do like camps or like 4 weeks, whatever, at Kill Cliff. I
Hmm.
think last last summer I was pretty much at Kill Cliff the whole summer.
Okay.
Yeah, like maybe I'd do 3 weeks, like 2 weeks, go back home for 1 week, come back down for like 3 weeks, go home for two, and then be there for like a month and change.
How far are they away from each other, Fusion and Killcliff?
Um, like 4 hours.
Oh, okay. So it is a bit of a drive.
Yeah, so when I go down here, I'm staying down here. I'm staying at Gerald's house, or I'll stay at my little brother's house.
Got you. Okay.
Little brother and his wife's house, who also happens to be one of my best friends from high school.
So I was actually probably going to ask you about him later. I might as well fit that in now. Is that the Lindsey Nelson or no?
No,
Oh, okay.
Delincy Nelson, but shout out to Delincy,
Hmm.
and then shout out to Garrick too. But
Okay.
Delincy Nelson is my friend from Virginia. My
Yeah.
little brother's his name is Noah.
It's is it actually your little brother?
No,
Okay.
he's my little cousin, but
Oh,
we grew up so close that we go by brother instead of cousin because it's more like that. We were always with each other.
okay.
We've always had that bond, and yeah. So if anyone's looking to join the Marines and you're in Fort Lauderdale area, hit Sergeant. I wish I remember Sergeant Noah Vital. I don't remember his full rank, but it's something like that.
Hit up Sergeant Noah, everyone, if you want to,
Yeah,
get involved.
to
Seriously.
the court. Yeah. That's what his name is on Instagram. Vital
Okay.
to the course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask you about Delincy. Actually, you've said that he's like a brother to you. You guys had a very close relationship. I'm not sure how close you guys are still today, but I know he was kind of like a troublemaker. He even slapped like some Chinese food out of your hand one time that you stole out of a party at a
Oh,
college party, and
you saw that
oh, of
on my
course. Oh,
highlight.
of course, man. Of course. And he also what broke your parents' couch and you had to try and fix it, and when you couldn't, you got a call from your mom and she was tweaking out on you for like 20 minutes. So just tell me a little bit about that, just growing up with him.
Oh shit, it's funny. I forget about like the stories that I put out there, bro. He's gonna fucking laugh when he sees this shit. But I met Delincy like in tenth grade, I think. Funny thing is, we didn't. I can't say we. I didn't like him because I liked the same girl that he liked or something like that, and I thought he was like in my way. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't like it wasn't a big thing. Not like none of us were dumb to like ever throw punches, but it was kind of like, "Well, you're annoying."
Yeah.
But we
Little
had like a
beef there.
super, yeah, and it was one sided mostly. I'd say on my end, but it's just we had like same friend group. Um, Pretty much still the same friend group. It's like Robbie, Chris, another Chris, Garrick, Cody, Delincy, Travis. Is all that same friend group. David, um, and we would sit at lunch together, and sometimes we'd be roasting each other up,
Mhm.
talking shit, whatever it is. And I don't, I don't even remember when like we became friends, which is funny because like we knew each other 10th grade, yeah, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Like we weren't close, but we were just always like around each other. And then I think after graduating, I was always like Garrick was my first friend that I made in Virginia, and like Garrick was coming over because we all went to the same community college, and I think he said something about Delincy, or we would just like meet up in between classes, and then it really just kind of became us three hanging out a lot.
That's awesome.
And yeah, man, that dude is something else. And like the story said, yeah, we would just do shit. That's like I don't even know how. Like, bro, like one time we were out roaming the streets at like 4, 5 a.m. Like we had been out since like maybe 10, and we're just walking around. We're in Fredericksburg, going to the Walmart, going to like a South Point McDonald's. Chill. I don't know, like you just do shit like that
Yeah.
sometimes when you're 18, 19, and we would just like not trouble, but you could say like mischievous in a
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Just like fucking around, yelling in stores, making dumb videos,
Okay.
like having sword fights, just like just being straight up idiots or like dancing behind people with like costumes on. And we always made the joke that we're like, if we actually cared about like becoming social media people, we probably could have done it just because the energy, but we both have our like own passions that we were trying to pursue, and just a lot,
Yeah.
being being that social media person, it takes a lot. Like trying to be social media famous is a lot of work. I'm not willing to actually try to be social media famous because I have my own goals.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. But yeah, we were just always goofing around, and yeah, he broke my fucking couch, got me in trouble, put a hole in my wall, wrestling, patched it up, still got in trouble for it because being the dumbass I was, I was trying to like tell my dad, it's like, hey, look, I fucked up the house, but I fixed it. That wasn't good enough for
Nope.
him. Like Haitian parents are very unforgiving. They're
Yeah.
not, you know, at least mine, at least my dad,
Yeah.
he was not trying to hear it, but yeah, broke the couch, with a hole in the wall, and then at a party in VCU, I don't know why, man. I had been drinking and
The story is so funny to me. The story is so funny to me.
yeah, if anybody watches this, like go to my page and I think like
It's in his
the story
highlights. It's in his
yeah,
highlights. Yeah, you'll find
story
it.
of VCU.
Yeah.
So like the cops are coming, all my friends are like, "Hey, we got to get the fuck out," and I run out, and then in my head I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I saw that Chinese
Yeah.
food earlier. Time to go get it." And yeah, people can be like, "Oh wow, you stole food." Whatever, man. Like,
It was
sorry.
leftover Chinese. It was lo
Yeah,
mein.
everybody has done shit.
Yeah.
It's like, look, man. It's like if at the end of days and if there is like a heaven or something, and I go there and it's like you stole Chinese food, it's like what the fuck ever.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh, dude, yeah.
my bad. It's not as bad. Not you don't want to compare things, but it's like there's people like Enron doing insider trading, all these different types of things, fucking the economy up.
Yeah.
I don't think my stealing Chinese food is gonna do anything, especially back then
Oh,
when
yeah.
Chinese food was cheap as hell. But yeah, I took that Chinese food, man, and I was like, I was crushing it. And then he walks up and just slaps that shit out my hand. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know if you know that one picture, it's like a white, it looks like a cat monkey,
Mhm.
and it's just like
Oh, of
it's just
course.
in there with
Yes.
his hands, and it's just
Yeah, of
like,
course.
and that's what I was like, why the fuck? So then I just walked over. And I was like, man, there better be some left in here. Opened it, there was still some. I
Yep.
was like, hey. And then we both started eating out of
Yep.
it.
Just pulling it out with your hands, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. But we're just goofy, man. That's
Oh, yeah.
and still friends to this day.
That's awesome.
We still talk to each other on the phone. He might be one of my few friends that like we regularly call
Mhm.
on the phone. Like I can call any of my friends. Like I can call Garrett, but we just never did that.
Yeah.
Delincy and I will be in the grocery store just bullshit, walking around picking stuff up. It's like, hey, should I get like the 10-pound bag of shrimp or should I get the 5-pound bag of shrimp? But the shrimp is big, like just stupid shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, I think your guys' relationship sounded awesome, and I completely get it because I had friends that we would be at these parties and we take like half a bottle of vodka off the table and just down it before anyone could come back and find their bottle. So trust me, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, everyone does it.
Of
Well,
course, of course.
maybe not everyone, but
Most people.
if you yeah, if you're gonna have some funny stories growing up, you've done something.
Exactly. So you talked about your dad a bit and how strict he was, those Haitian parents and everything. So you said that he would test you with pop quizzes based on just like math and this and that, just
Oh
whatever.
man, you really man, you went through the
Oh
page.
yeah, yeah. So you said that he would just give you these random pop quizzes out of nowhere and then give you a punishment. Things didn't go well. I mean, even went to the point of taking the game out of your DS and throwing it on the road and stuff like that. I mean, it was strict, obviously. But do you think that strictness and toughness kind of helped you become the man you are today? And do you think it helps you in terms of like your MMA career?
Man, yeah. I mean, from a standpoint of how to explain it, there's a lot of things that I didn't agree with, and I'd still like I would never do that.
Yeah.
But I think luckily, the type of person I am, it didn't hurt me in a sense of making me softer. Really, it did kind of just toughen me up. And a joke that people like to say is like your parents were almost trying to raise like child soldiers. they're like they're like, what the hell are they preparing you for? like
War.
nobody does that. Yeah, exactly.
War.
It's like they had me ready to be able to just be like, all right, there's a war going on, time to get to it.
Time to go. Yep.
And I mean, I like my dad has explained some of the reasons behind his methods, and I've been like, still not necessary, bro. But I was able to learn I was able to learn things from those lessons, and I definitely do think that um, it's like say for example, like hard practices a coaches kind of on your ass a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't it doesn't phase me like that. Granted, when my dad would be on my ass, it's a little bit different than a coach.
Yeah.
Because with my dad, it kind of makes me be like, now I don't feel like doing anything you're telling me, bro. Leave me alone. With a coach, it's a little bit different. But you see, there's a lot of people who sometimes can't handle the toughness that comes with sports and the abrasiveness, the brashness
Yeah.
that can happen because it's like it's first it's like combat sport. So high contact combat sport and you're with a lot of gritty ass men, you know?
Hell yeah.
Gritty ass men or women. But a lot of people can't handle when a coach is a little bit tougher on them. They start to crumble. And for me, I was like, I'm not gonna be any worse than my dad. It's just like it is what it is. I chose to do this, and you're not gonna be worse than my dad. So I'm gonna just keep on pushing.
Hell yeah.
And I think one of the things is like it's funny, like when you're younger, things you react to things differently. I was motivated through spite for a long time. It's like I'll show
Okay.
you. It's like I'm it's like you're not gonna tell me I can't do something.
Yeah.
Everything was just a competition spite. I had a huge chip on my shoulder.
Okay.
And then you mature and then realize it's like not everything things shouldn't be done out of spite.
No.
And I think that's the incorrect way to go. But you can go pretty far off spite. Like there's been many people to make it far off of spite and do some amazing things
Hmm.
because in spite of someone else. So I'm
Hell
not
yeah.
gonna say I'm not the one for being the most politically correct or giving great advice, but it's like, hey, if spite is your thing and you can push it and you can do something well for yourself, doesn't have to hurt someone else, but if you're able to use that spite and go far, use it. But
Yeah.
just know you can't do it forever. But yeah, just my dad, my mom, the way that they did things, and just who I always say it's like who I am naturally. And that you can't take credit for how a kid is naturally because there's a whole nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
I think naturally I was just a tougher kid,
Okay.
tougher mentality, but I had my parents that were like prepping me for war. So the only thing it did was just make me even more tough
Yeah.
and kind of more mentally resilient.
I love that explanation, honestly. It really makes sense, especially the funny part about spite. I mean, it's funny, but it's true. Like there's a lot of different ways to like take like some of the more negative moments, I guess, you have growing up, and you could either decide to do it out of spite and you could be successful out of that, or you could just kind of do it your own way, which is what I kind of feel like you did. And you were able to, go very far places just based on like your way of doing things. So I really respect that, honestly.
I appreciate it.
Of
And
course.
um, yeah, my parents would say, they're like, you just want to do things your way. And I'm like, yeah, it's my life. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm not sure
No
what
shit. Yeah.
it's like. Like, what are we talking about here?
Mhm.
It's like, I'm player one. I'm in the driver's seat. And that's something that I would always tell them. I'm like, I'm not living for you guys. It's
Mhm.
like, you guys decided to have me. That's your responsibility. You have to deal with whatever I end up doing.
Yeah.
And I was always a smart ass. That's one of those things. But I think I was very lucky in the sense that even with being a smart ass, sometimes I'd push it a little too hard. Kids are, kids, teenagers, young adults, you're gonna push it.
Oh yeah.
You're still figuring everything out. But I feel like my parents did a great job in terms of always trying to explain things to me. And yeah, sometimes they would hit me with the "you just do what I say." I'm like, that's not good enough for me. And it's like I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Of course, we're gonna have our arguments, but they explained a lot to me.
Okay.
They didn't let me grow up being uninformed on a lot. Maybe some people could say it's like maybe too informed, but they made sure to explain a lot of stuff to me. And maybe even like after the yelling, after that, it's like I was able to kind of understand who my parents were, why they think the way that they think. And for that, I'm grateful because a lot of parents that were born in different countries do not see the need to talk to their kids
Yeah.
about anything. And I was lucky in the sense that, yeah, I had a strict house. Like I wasn't really doing sleepovers like that. There's a lot of strict things, but at the same time, it's like I had a relationship with my parents. I can joke around with my parents. I can make fun of my parents. They make fun of me. Whatever it is, it's just I always say it's like no matter what issues I had or can say it's like, "Oh, I wish these things were different." I'm happy for the parents that I got. I'm grateful for it because I know that I could have ended up with some parents who are like, "Hey, yo, shut up, don't talk to
Yep.
me." And so I take what I can get. So I just
Oh
called my
yeah.
mom and talked to her for like 25 minutes, and we're like joking, talking about stuff, and it's like I can call my dad, need advice, or we just talking shit, making jokes. He's
Yeah.
sending
Just chatting
memes.
it
It's
up.
yeah, family, family, man. And you're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your bad days,
Of
but
course.
even with the bad days, I'm like, I'm happy for what I got, and he's like, I love you guys, even if you annoy me sometimes.